It's on me now, Oos. Hey, I'ma get them all. I'ma get them all, Oos. Yeah, I'ma get them. I'ma get them. I'ma get them. Yeah, it's on me now, Oos. It's on me. Hey, main event Jay Uso is now in your city. It's go down now, Oos. Okay. Hey, let's get it, Oos. Hey, I'm about to get him, Oos. I'm about to get them all. Let's go. Oos. It's just me, Oos. Day one, it's just me, Oos. Day one, it's just me, Oos. Day one, it's a lot of more love and knock them down like this. Oos. It's just me, Oos. Okay. Day one, it's just me, Oos. Day one, it's just me, Oos. Okay. Day one, it's a lot of more love and knock them down like this. I did. Yeah, it's on me now, Oos. Hey, it's go down now, Oos. Okay, Hey, let's get it, Oos. Hey, I'm about to get him, Oos. I'm about to get them all. Let's go. Oos. It's just me, Oos. Day one. Say his name and he appears. I believe in Joe Hendry. I believe in Joe Hendry. Cause they love him in London and Paris and Tokyo, America, Scotland and Canada and Mexico. They say I believe in Joe Hendry. I believe in Joe Hendry.
I don't think I hear you, brother. Hello?
There you go. Unmute. There you go.
There you go.
I said that's how you troll your co-host. I have been setting that.
Oh man.
I've been setting that bit up for all afternoon, trying to find the
Nice.
Chris Jericho countdown, trying to find the Joe Hendry video because it ties into what we're going to be talking about today. Let me get situated here. I'm still not 100%.
Yeah. I have to say, just off of just a random note, did this StreamYard just up their game right now? Because you look much more clear. I look much more clear. I don't know if this is a recent update. It looks
They have been slowly but surely kind of stepping up their game.
Yeah.
They've had some massive updates, and I don't know if it was
good. All I'm saying.
It looks good. I'm pretty happy with it. There we go. I was trying to get my mouse to connect so I can chill out here.
But other than that, introductions. Hello again, everyone that's tuning in either right now or sometime later. I'm one of the co-hosts of the PS Comics I Love You podcast. Even though we're not be talking about comics today, I'm of course Jericho Pakun, aka Dark King, and to the guy to the left of me right here is of course the one, the only Kevin, the voice of reason, Pillow. How you doing, my friend?
I'm doing quite well. Got my newly acquired swag on here.
Nice.
I don't know if you can get this. My girl.
Oh, nice.
Straight out of Tokyo, Japan. Straight out of Star Wars Celebration. I found myself a smuggler who got it out and got it here in time for PS Comics I Love You, as JR said.
Perfect.
There's the hashtag if you want to hit us up. We are on all social media platforms. Just look up PS Comics I Love You, Facebook. Yeah, just about everything. Matter of fact, you just reminded me I got to retweet the. And by the way, right now we're streaming on Instagram. Now we are streaming on at Voice of Reason 23. Reason being is Meta is making it very difficult to. Meta's making it very difficult to use StreamYard, and apparently we don't have enough followers or something on PS Comics. So let's get that subscribe, that like button going on Instagram at PS Comics I Love You on Instagram. Please. Hit us up. We'll post some more stuff. There is definitely and I'm watching right now. I am watching Stand and Deliver right now in the background, and I am watching the Women's North American Championship ladder match, and I just saw a brutal spot. And we're going to get to the WrestleMania weekend here right out of the gate. We've got a lot to talk about. We're going to talk about what happened in Japan. We're going to talk about Star Wars Celebration because there is some very, very cool information that came down the pipeline. But obviously this past week when it comes to pop culture, and that's what like JR said, it says our show is called PS Comics I Love You, which of course is a take on two things. Our inspiration, which was one of the many Comic-Cons that were out here, PS Comics Expo, PS Palm Springs Comic-Con, Comic-Con Palm Springs. Comic-Con Palm Springs, I know I've talked to some of the guys. They promise they're going to come back. at some point. I know they've got a relationship with the film festival and are doing the animation festival. So I know that Comic-Con Palm Springs is still very much out there. So that's kind of where we drew the inspiration, and of course the take on the old "P.S. I Love You" tagline from Palm Springs back in the day. So nonetheless, like Jeremy said, not a lot of comics to talk about lately. The comic book industry is really in a rough shape. I know that there's potentially some cool stuff coming down the pipeline in the next year or so. I know that Marvel has a big one of their big retreats coming up, I think this summer, and that's usually when they map out the next few years. And some of those retreats have managed to produce some great content. I know we talked about this a couple episodes ago when we were talking about Doomsday, the movie coming out next year. What's that?
Oh, good,
next year or year after?
For what?
For Doomsday.
For Doomsday should be next year, I think.
Yeah. Anyways, so the retreats, we were talking about this on the previous episode. If you want to go back and watch that, we talked about how some of these retreats that Marvel does has produced some great storylines. I mean, probably one of the last great runs of Marvel comics was probably back in the early 2010s when they did AVX, Civil War I, House of M. God bless it. There was just like event after event, and they had some great storytelling. And actually, some of the characters that are coming out right now in the Marvel Cinematic Universe that aren't long-standing Silver Age or Bronze Age characters, they came from the New Age, the Marvel Now or whatever era. Yeah. So I don't know. We'll see what happens with Marvel Comics. I know that James Gunn has talked about how your boy Jim Lee, who runs Marvel DC Comics, is really trying to turn things around there. Both of which they've got a lot going on.
It's definitely been a struggle specifically for comics in just general, right? Not even just like the big two of Marvel and DC, but of course Image Comics and everyone else too. It has definitely been a dry spell for a lot of things. I personally, of course, I don't really like the direction where it's heading. Small tidbit, even though we haven't really been collecting it in a hot minute now. You know who's the current Venom? Kevin?
I don't know.
They just revealed it maybe a couple weeks ago. It is Mary Jane now.
Oh Lord. Oh yeah, they're doing they've got a hard on for her right now. Her and Gwen Stacy. I know that there's there's a run of Gwenpool that's coming out next month. And I know on Reddit there's a lot of Gwenpool fans that are not real happy about it because it looks like they might be retconning. Sorry, I know I look old with the leash around my glasses, but
nice.
I'm trying to CJR from far away, and I don't even think this is working. So
I'm still trying to see me. But yeah, it's so like I want to say it's weird, but it's not weird. It's just so typical of Marvel at the moment, where like they're trying to do something right in order to get some level of like attention and acclaim, because we've talked about it for the longest time how the comics nowadays are more so pivoting to resemble a lot of like what's on screen.
Yeah,
and
I was just gonna say that
it's just resembling on screen. And I don't know, it's just not really good. You see what's been happening specifically along the last couple of years now with Spider-Man, and with how that was directed, and how Pete is just in the worst shit again, and how they just can't have him be happy or anything like that, or as well as like just some of the other like titles where the level of claim again is, I'm thinking like they're probably gonna have another, they're most likely going to end up releasing number ones again. They're gonna be redoing series, and so it's just the usual churn. There hasn't been anything exciting for me specifically since like the end of since like the Immortal Hulk run, as well as what was the last like actual run I remember purchasing just from comics in general. I think the last like full on run was something from like Image Comics or even like probably Boom Studios. I think it was like a James Tynion book. I just forgot the name of it, but yeah, just comic books in general. Ever since like again we got out of COVID and everything, just the downturn has been just really substantial. And so even though we're called the comic books, a comic podcast, we haven't necessarily been talking about comics for quite a while, man. It's again down. It was hard. It's heartbreaking to see, but hey, just how the state of everything is right now.
We've said that from the get-go. Is we've always prided ourselves on being a pop culture podcast that just happens to be PS Comics I Love You. And there's a lot of people I've talked to, I've met through Disneyland. As an annual pass holder, I turn people on to our podcast. I'm watching right now the finishing of the NXT Women's ladder match, the North American Championship ladder match. Pretty damn good match. But we'll talk about that. Let's get into talking about pop culture, talking about what's going on in the world. Do we want to start with WrestleMania, or do we want to talk about a galaxy far, far away?
I think we'll talk about Galaxy real quick because I know that's like probably the the Star Wars Celebration has actually been really small considering it's funny because you think that since it's a celebration we have every or so often, it's just like they would have more announcements, but I guess it's just more so on like the on there was more had to do with stuff on the like rides and actual parks and specifically in Batu. And so I mean we had some great announcements there specifically, but like, go ahead.
It was not as loaded as has been in the past, but you got to take into consideration that just last year we had D23 just about, less than 10 months ago, where they did announce Mandalorian and Grogu. They did announce the upgrades to what's it called? Smuggler's Run, the Millennium Falcon ride at Galaxy's Edge. But I think what it seemed like to me was the theme of the weekend was celebrating, and I didn't know this was 20 years of Lucas Animation. So this marks the 20-year anniversary of when George Lucas created Lucas Animation. And the funny story, and if you ever get a chance to go onto Disney Plus, and I think it's the very first episode of the Directors Roundtable for behind the scenes of Mandalorian season 1, and they talk with all the different directors of that season, which was like a who's who of directors. And when they get to Dave Filoni, he talks about when he was working for Nickelodeon. He was working for I forget who he was working for, but he thought he was getting pranked by the SpongeBob people, and it was George Lucas's secretary saying, "We want you to come interview for Lucas Animation," and Filoni goes, "That's so lame! Like, you guys can't come with a better name. Like, Lucas Animation doesn't exist." And lo and behold, he flies out to Lucasfilms or the Skywalker Ranch, meets with George Lucas, and becomes his right hand man, and becomes what's it called? Pretty much runs Clone Wars, which really kind of put Lucas Animation on the map. So so that's what I found, that it was more celebrating the anniversary. There was a lot of panels geared towards the legacy of animation. We'll go kind of through the hot spots of it. They did talk more about Mando and Grogu. There was a trailer that leaked. I did see it. It looks phenomenal. We get to see Zeb Aurelian from Rebels fame in. I'm watching TV and I see your girl. Woo! What's her name? Stephanie McCord, who is looking like my favorite X-Men, looking like Psylocke except it's not purple.
Oh,
She's got blue on.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, it was they talked about that. Mandalorian Grogu comes out the end of May next year. Looks great. They did kind of let the cat out of the bag that it is going to the events of that is going to lead into a Mandalorian season 4 and Ahsoka season 2, which is in production. We do know now. We also know too, JR, what you want to talk about this is there is a brand new full-length feature film coming to the Star Wars universe post Rise of Skywalker. This will be the first movie coming out post Rise of Skywalker. It will not per se tie directly into the Skywalker saga, though it will take place timeline-wise about 15 years after the Battle of Exegol, which was the final battle, the penultimate battle in Rise of Skywalker, and it will be directed by I just forgot his name, the guy who directed Deadpool and Wolverine.
Forgot to.
Directed Fall Guy and the Atom Project. I just can't think of his name on the top of my head, and then also Ryan Gosling will be the star of the movie. He will be a Jedi who is tapped with training his son as his Padawan, and his family has to evade while training his son to become a Jedi. He has to evade this bad guy, and that's all we really know about it so far. That is set for a 2027 summer release, so looking forward to that. But JR, I think we'll go to also we are getting a sequel to the Lego Star Wars movie, which will feature the return of Darth Jar Jar, voiced by the same guy. I just had his name. I just watched the panel this morning.
Yeah,
and then coming back is Brickhead Ahsoka, voiced by Ashley Eckstein. So for the first time since season 7 of Clone Wars and Rebels, which has been almost 10 years? Less than 10 years?
Something like that for Rebels specifically?
Because Clone Wars got season 7 with Disney Plus, so it's been about
maybe
about 4 or 5 years. Yeah.
Oh, but anyways, for Rebels?
We're for Clone Wars season 7, which was I think during the Disney Plus era. So, but no, it's been a few years at Ashley Eckstein, so she's super excited, super emotional about getting to voice an animated Ahsoka. So, though it is not canon, it is still kind of cool to see some original stories. We also do know that Visions season 3 will be coming out, and a whole new batch of anime studios from around the world, not just in the Asia continent. I know that most of season 2 was done by some anime studios from South America.
Yep.
But JR, go ahead.
I've heard some of the discourse has been happening, specifically around Visions. I'm like, you guys have been watching then. Some of the discourse, he's like, some of this what the visual that we saw was specifically, it was the Ronin from seasons 1 and 2, the one who takes all the red lightsabers, right? The Kyber crystals, the red lightsabers, and then he's facing off against basically another looks like another Sith, and this Sith has like an umbrella. It looks like an umbrella filled with like umbrella basically based with like it has like a bunch of like red lightsabers, right? And people were like just like full on like just hating on it, like, oh, yo, this isn't Star Wars, this is stuff. Like, you guys really have been watching any Visions, have you? Right? Like back, it felt very like boomerish, I guess. Like, oh, back in my day, it's this, is that. Like, bro, if you hated that one, you definitely would have hated the scene in season 1 where one of the Force twins, tore apart a battleship, a Star Destroyer with his fucking lightsaber. Right? So it's like, you definitely would have hated season 1. So it's like, it's anime, it's Star Wars anime. It's supposed to be zany, it's supposed to be out there, it's definitely supposed to be far from the normal we get from, like, I guess, live action. It's definitely there's a zaniest of anime, but there's also the things where like, damn, that really should have been like a series. I remember specifically in I forget if they did a season 2 of it. I can't think of my top of my head, but like, remember in season 1 where it was the little girl, the daughter who's trying to find a Jedi, and then she goes up to space, and then is basically everyone there. It looked like, has Jedi lightsabers, right? But she finds a Jedi there, but everybody else has a red lightsaber, and it's like, oh shit. That was like some of the coolest shit. And that scene, right, that whole like franchise, that whole like little like short story right there should have been its own series for me. And I'll say if you're none from Production IG, what you choose. Production IG is a very well-renowned Japanese anime studio, and so like this is the type of stuff that you definitely want. And so it's definitely
I think they're one of the studios that's getting invited back.
Yep, I think they were also there for season 2. I think, remember 2.
Yeah.
I just forgot it top of my head, but like this is what you're getting. This is exactly what I wanted specifically for like anime Star Wars, where the crazier shit that's supposed to be in canon, that that Luke was supposed to do, that a lot of the Jedi were supposed to do, are gonna be way more accentuated and way more just like zany and out there when you're doing anime, because guess what? They're freaking space wizards throwing lightsabers around.
And that's what was the beauty about Star Wars Celebration last week, was it being, it's basically, for those, I kept talking about it on social media, was that it's back home. It's in the motherland. And people go like, no, the motherland for Star Wars is Marin County. It's Lucas Ranch. I'm like, no, it's not. The motherland for Star Wars is Japan. That is what George Lucas based it on. He based on Kurosawa films. The Jedi are space samurai. And that's why when Jon Favreau and Kathleen Kennedy and Dave Filoni greenlit Visions, because it made sense to put to give Japanese culture Star Wars, and that's what they did. They went to these. They started off with the best of the best. That's where they wanted to hit a home run right out of the bat. Is they went to all these top Japanese, Korean, Vietnamese, all the Asian anime studios. Most of them were Japanese.
Yeah.
But they went to all these anime studios and went, here's Star Wars. Play. Just have fun. And that's was so great about it. Is like, are all of them home runs? No. I mean, I think that the very first episode, like JR mentioned with the Ronin, I think they hit a home run right out of the bat. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, JR, I think that was a Studio Ghibli.
No.
Episode.
It was no. Ghibli wasn't a part of it. I think there was I forgot who it was specifically that did it, but it was there was some legendary names in it. Production IG, definitely one of them. It was someone else. It was someone, I think it was attached to Studio Ghibli or something of the sort, where it was this own individual person who did, I think, the Ronin. And so it's just like, this is what you specifically want. That, like, this is what I've been saying for a while, is like I think we talked about this years ago when we were doing Star Wars, or talking about Star Wars in totality of it, or like, it's basically samurai versus gunslingers in the Star Wars world. It's Jedi versus Mandalorians. That's it. It's you got East meets West, in the sense of like samurais and gunslingers in that way. And so it's definitely, I'm happy to see it. Vision season 3. I forgot exactly when it's going to come out. I don't think
I'm just looking at it right now. October 29th of this year, we get the 9 more episodes of Visions. I think this has been like their quiet, kind of their quiet hit. And the episode that we were talking about is called The Duel. It's from it's season 1, episode 1, came out in 2021. And another one that was a big hit was Tatooine Rhapsody.
That's it.
I think the one you were talking about, JR, was The Twins.
Yeah, that was like the first couple episodes. The Twins,
that was episode 3. Yeah,
the Twins is straight up like space anime. It's Star Wars anime. When you think of like,
there's a couple of them that are just like like the stupid, like,
bro. When you have one dude, on a ship going outside, and he cuts the freaking Star Destroyer in half with his lightsaber. Right? Of course, you're not gonna see that shit in like live action, right? But it's like, come on, man. Yes, we would. I would love to see Luke somehow cut a freaking Star Destroyer in half. I would love to see him cut a spaceship in half. We're not going to see it because guess what? That's limitations for any like live action thing. We're not going to see that. So yeah, it's like the closest thing you probably do for us having Star Wars Unleashed, basically, right? This old, this old video game that Lucas Games made it like 15 years ago now, or they possibly 20 years ago now, more. It's like that's it. That's definitely it. They just give animate, just like give Star Wars to Japanese anime studios that are like highly accredited, and we'll see what we got. And so that's what's it. I can't wait for it. I personally can't wait for it.
Yeah, so that's coming out in October. We do get, obviously we're in the midst of Andor. We had the first 3 episodes of Andor season 2 come out last week. Controversial first couple episodes, but still I really enjoyed them. We get the next 3 episodes come out on Tuesday. Other announcements that came out of Star Wars Celebration. Obviously the new movie we were just talking about, starring Ryan Gosling. I think it's called let me find it now.
Yes, Starfighter.
Starfighter?
Yeah,
is that what it is?
Starfighter. Yeah, Starfighter. Yeah, and as well as the new animated series that's been announced, which is going to feature Maul, Shadow Lord.
Yeah.
So
that I forgot about that. So
yeah,
this is going to the new Darth Maul series. Darth, I think what is it? Maul Shadow
Lord.
Shadow Lord comes out in 2026. It does feature the returning Sam Witwer as the voice of Darth Maul. And after the Clone Wars, Maul plots to rebuild the criminal syndicate on a planet untouched by the Empire. So this is what I was talking about with some friends of mine that I'm excited about. This is we finally get to see where, and this is going to go into a controversial comment I'm going to make right now. First off, Solo, a Star Wars story, Solo, not a bad movie. I said what I said. It's an underrated movie. Is it a great movie? No, it's not. Is it a bad movie? No. Did Ron Howard do his best to save it? Yes, and I'm glad that he did. Had it not been for Ron Howard's relationship with George Lucas, back, because I mean, there's again going back to that documentary we talked about with The Mandalorian. Bryce Dallas Howard talks about how she traveled as a child with her father to Japan and met with people over in Japan to help. I think it was with the distribution for Star Wars and to get it right and whatnot. So both the Howards, Bryce Dallas and Ron, have been involved with Star Wars since the beginning. So I honestly believe, had it not been for that relationship, Kathleen Kennedy doesn't have the testicular fortitude to call Ron Howard and say, "Hey, can you come save this movie and try and save the studio?" I don't think we get Bryce Dallas Howard involved with The Mandalorian. But yeah, Solo is a good movie. I honestly think, I hope we get to see not only we get to see the follow up of what's it called? Spoiler alert for those who haven't seen Solo. There is not a post credit scene, but there's a scene at the end where Kira is taken over. I think one of the crime syndicates, and she enlists the help of a returning Darth Maul. And at that point in live action, we had not seen Darth Maul return. We had seen him return in the Clone Wars and eventually in Rebels when Solo came out, because Solo came out in 2018. So we had seen plenty of Maul in animation. So we knew he was back. And so a lot of fans were like, "Oh my gosh, they brought him out of death." I'm like, dude, freaking watch a cartoon. And and at that point, I don't think I'd seen Clone Wars or Rebels yet. And I think if it wasn't for, I think I just met you And I saw Darth Maul after Solo, and I was like, "Hey, JR, why is this?" And you kind of explained to me why Solo or why Maul was back, and I was like, "Oh, okay, that makes sense." Yeah. So I hope they do address, because the events of Solo does take place in that era of where they're talking post Clone Wars. I mean, maybe it's a little bit closer to the events of A New Hope, but I hope they address Kira, and I hope they talk about maybe a little crossover and kind of legitimize that movie. So I'm excited for Maul. And speaking, JR, of the Crime Syndicate, we get a new Tales of this week. We get a new Tales of the Underworld, I believe, on Sunday with Star Wars Day, a week from today. And it will feature the returning Asajj Ventress and a young Cad Bane.
That's right.
So we get almost possibly an origin story on Cad Bane, and then we get some more Asajj Ventress, which I'm okay with. Asajj is kind of an underrated character in my opinion.
It's very underrated. I'm happy about that too. So this is definitely gonna be taking place. Like, oh my gosh, this is definitely taking place pre Clone Wars, of course. Can't necessarily name out the actual start date for it. But yeah, I'm happy for it. Just it's always good to see like characters that like are given its proper due in the animated form. And so yeah, so I'm again happy for it. I'll definitely give it a watch. Shoot, what else? Just one, Asajj Ventress has definitely been a underrated character specifically, and
Absolutely.
I get why they can't use her because for obvious reasons. Not getting too spoilery. For anyone who wants to find out, watch Clone Wars. Just watch the animated series. But yeah, I'm good. I'm definitely happy about it. I'm definitely gonna watch that. Darth Maul. To kind of piggyback on what you said up, Darth Maul as well as just Solo in general. Man, it just sucks that Solo came in between. Like, what was it? It came in between basically Last Jedi. It was
literally right after Last Jedi, yeah.
And so it's like it was DOA because of just the ruffling of the feathers and just how fans were so upset and uproar with how how basically our childhoods were treated in that sense. And so seeing Han, which honestly genuinely feels like an honest attempt, a genuine attempt of trying to like at least give credence and give love to this character of Han Solo. Like yeah. Cool. They gave a lot more. People are now just like. We're adding on another reason to hate on the franchise again. Because like, oh, he's fucking looks nothing like Harrison Ford. Like, dude, no one looks like Harrison Ford when they're younger. No one does, right? And even if you did find a guy who looked like Harrison Ford, he's not gonna act like Harrison Ford. And the guy, I forgot the actor's name, but he was great for me. He was good. He
tried. He gave it his all.
Yeah, it was the overall like feel of the movie was very much about thieves, was very much about scoundrels and all that stuff. And so he was Han Solo was definitely a scoundrel. I would love to definitely see Emilia Clarke back. I would love to see her, Kira. I would love to see how if they even do get Emilia Clarke to come back and just do voice roles. And so hopefully she isn't too scarred by the Disney / like Marvel presence of like of the vitriol has been kind of getting her way ever since like Secret Invasion. But I'm hoping she gets a shot. I'm hoping she comes back. I'm a big fan of Emilia Clarke. I'm a big fan of just again Star Wars franchise, and so I would love to see her back. But yeah.
And then of course I think the big news that came out of Star Wars Celebration was obviously the announcement of Ahsoka season 2, and we got some really cool really cool announcements about that, what it's going to be like. The biggest thing was the last half of the show. Dave Filoni says we are going to get a full out. What he said, we are going to get the biggest battle these Star Wars have ever seen. He goes. They call it Star Wars for a reason. We need to have a war. And he goes, and we are going to have a war, and it's going to be between Admiral Akbar, his fleet, and of course Grand Admiral Thrawn and his fleet. And that is how the Ahsoka season 2 will end. We do know that obviously Ahsoka, who is off planet with Sabine Wren.
Oh, yep.
We do know that they have recast. They have recast, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
And
Skull?
a lot of people are happy about the recasting of oh my gosh, I can't think of his name now. Balin Scroll.
Yes, Scroll. Yeah.
The new actor playing Balin Scroll will be Rory McCann, and some of you might know him as the Hound from Game of Thrones. Yep. And they showed a picture of him with his full-on Balin Scroll beard, and I'm okay with it. I think he will do justice to our boy. And I mean, I don't think anyone will truly replace Ray Stevenson, but we do know Shin Hati will return, Sabine Wren will return, Ahsoka obviously will return. We do know that Ezra Bridger will return. Anakin Skywalker will return, so that means Hayden Christensen. The biggest source we've got. Okay, let's do the count here. We've got it. We know that. Oh my gosh, why did I just draw a blank on her name? The Hera. Hera's going to come back. We obviously know Ahsoka. Yep. We know Sabine. Yep. We know Ezra. We know that Chopper's coming back. Dave Filoni's actually even promised us more Chopper.
Good.
More Chopper.
Good.
Okay, so we've got. Oh, by the way, they announced Zeb is coming to Ahsoka season 2, which means we have the entire Ghost crew minus one. Spoiler alert. For those who don't know, there's one guy missing from the Ghost crew, and there's for good reason, and that would be it would be Kanan Jarrus, who in one of the greatest heart-wrenching scenes in Star Wars lore, period. Fight me about it. The death scene of Kanan Jarrus is arguably one of the greatest scenes in the Star Wars celebration, or in the Star Wars mythology. But fans are not completely saying that they didn't say anything about Kanan Jarrus coming back, but what's his name? Freddie Prinze Jr. has said in the past that he doesn't want to come back because he doesn't want to ruin the character, but he's also alluded on some of his podcasts that he would come back if the story was right. Yeah. And I would maybe a flashback, or maybe even as a Force ghost. I would love to see Kanan come back and make an appearance. Now, there's still possibilities too, based on when the time frame of which we know is 4 BBY. The time frame for Andor season 2 is 4 BBY. That would also be in the time frame of when the Ghost crew exists. Yeah. So there's still speculation that the Ghost crew in live action could make an appearance in Andor season 2, but I'm not holding my breath at this point, seeing how the first 3 episodes played out. But nonetheless, so we get Zeb, Hera, Sabine, Ezra, Chopper, Ahsoka, all in Ahsoka season 2. No, I don't think there's a time frame. Did they say when that was coming out?
No, not that. Like,
I know they're in production. They are looking at a 2026 release with no exact date. So next year is no date, just 2026 for Ahsoka season 2. So we've got, like I said, Mandalorian and Grogu comes out May of next year. Ahsoka season 2 next year. Skyfighter comes out in 2027.
Starfighter.
Starfighter. And we've got, like I said, we mentioned we get Star Wars Tales of the Underworld comes out this weekend. Vision Season 3 comes out in the fall. And they did say that there is a lot more Disney animation in the works, because people just think, oh, well, they're done. They did Clone Wars, they did Rebels, they did Bad Batch. All they're doing is like these kind of one-off things with Tales of and Visions. And they made it sound like, no, Lucas Animation is not done with Star Wars. So fingers crossed. But I think the thing too is that I think they're able to do so much now in live action that it'd be tough to go back to animation and have people be okay with it.
I mean, this has been the not necessarily the problem, but this has been the kerfuffle specifically with me on the end of like Star Wars and the totality of the whole franchise, where it's like you have these beings of great power, basically, right? And they're just so incredibly nerfed when you put them into live action, where they're basically, you're given all this training and you're just so you're kind of just really like honed down in the sense of like live action side. Like bro, okay, so just for a visual take, how do you feel of Ahsoka season 1, its action scenes, in comparisons to the final seasons of Clone Wars, the anime series?
I think I had to maintain my expectations because for two reasons. Number one, you can do so much more in animation.
Absolutely.
Number two, in continuity, as powerful as Ahsoka is, Ahsoka now would be in her probably in her 30s or her 40s.
40s.
Yeah. Where in Clone Wars she's a teenager.
Yeah.
So she's probably in her 20s or her 30s. So she's aged. I mean, imagine, JR, when you were 12, 13, 14 years old, you probably had a lot more energy than you do now, and you're pretty good shape 30-year-old.
Yeah.
So
yeah. It's definitely I get that point. I think just for me specifically, or the visually, stylistically, as well as just having like just again the most irritating notions of like how we had for live action, on the lower side you can have Force youth, basically, right? You can be so bold in the Force that it doesn't matter how old you are. You can, we've had Jedi that are like freaking thousands of years old, if I remember correctly, some of them that, and they're still young and spry and able to take down swaths of people, specifically in the older in the older series of Knights of the Old Republic. But aside from that, if the base comparison I will always get is the shit that we got from off of a Kenobi, right? Of having a once Jedi Master be drugged through fire with the Force, and how horrible that looks. I'm always gonna be wanting like a better representation of using of the Force, especially when you've given me better examples of it, right?
Yeah.
We're talking about Obi-Wan fucking Kenobi, who took down swaths of battalions by himself, right? And this, I don't know. It's just for more. I definitely see the limitations of live action, right? Of live action and how much it would just eat up in the budget, and as well as like the other things like, oh, can these guys and girls actually fight and look good on screen and make it look like it's not a dance that they're doing, but like an actual fight scene. And so I get it. That's tough to do. For me particular, and how I'm very, very, very particular with like just fight scenes and just action movies in general. And so I want to have some level of clarity. I want to have some level of I guess like not authenticity, because it's Star Wars obviously, but like a level of I don't know, just looking really, really freaking good on screen, right? Because when you give me when you give me Ahsoka fending off 3 Inquisitors by herself in Rebels, right? I want to see that. Just her flipping everywhere, her using force powers everywhere. I get it. CGI, special effects, all that stuff is expensive as hell. And not only that, but we need to have oh my gosh, shoot, I'm blanking on the actress's name. Rosario Dawson. We need to have Rosario Dawson be healthy. I get that.
Yeah.
Right. You don't want it. You don't want someone who is pushing 50 to tear an ACL, right?
Yeah. That would not be good.
So that would not be good. I get that, but like, yeah, I would, it's just my the examples that was given to me specifically from like Ahsoka or from Clone Wars, like, okay, we're definitely gonna hone it down here, and so, but I don't know, that's just me. I'm keeping my expectations low anyway on the action side, but I'm just overall again a fan. I can't wait for the next season, and as well as the inevitable movies coming through. So
yeah, so I know for those who don't know too, obviously we get Mandalorian and Grogu. Next year there is talk that we are still going to get a Dave Filoni helmed full-length feature film. But we don't know when that it is. We don't know what that. They did say that it is going to be the kind of the end game, so to speak, of the Mandalorian, Ahsoka. Like the essentially, it's the movie is being called. Oh my gosh! Why did I just draw a blank?
the Mandalorian.
What was the name of the first Thrawn book?
Oh yeah! Oh my gosh, dude! Thank you for
Heir to the Empire.
Heir to the Empire, yeah.
Yeah. So the movie that Dave Filoni is going to write is they've kind of the fans have dubbed it Star Wars: Heir to the Empire because it will be the kind of conclusion of the Mandalorian, Ahsoka, Book of Boba Fett era, this kind of era, the Mandalorian era of the Star Wars saga. And so we don't know when that's going to happen. There hasn't been any new information about it. But as I'm still watching Stand and Deliver behind me, they finally got to the women's championship match. And your girl is in the ring right now. Both of them are in the ring. You got Julia and Stephanie Vakor.
Oh yeah.
You got Jordan Grace, who just came over from TNA, and then what's the line? He goes, "Which one doesn't belong here?" Was that Jada Parker? Whatever her name is.
I mean, here's the thing. We'll get into with that. Jada Parker actually is really coming along really, really, really well. Yeah. Like she needs to work on her skill set. Obviously, like her finishing move is basically just bump them with her big ass. That's literally her finisher. She does she runs the ropes, right, and then she sidelines them with her big ass. That's quite literally her finisher. There's stuff to be done with her, but she's again. I think she came from the NIL program, not NIL, the sports program where like you have a lot of like athletes come over, and she was one of them. And she's overall, I will say she fits the bill specifically for what NXT has been doing in the last year or so. Like to give her props, give her all that, all the other extra shit that's surrounding her, and for people to fucking are way too invested. And it's just some other stupid shit is like, I don't know about that. I'm just looking at her as a wrestler and what she brings professionally. She definitely some work, but then again, this is she's in a development program. So, but yeah, that's a good match. I feel like that's one of the better matches of the night too.
So with that said, kind of wrapping up the Star Wars section of our series, Star Wars Celebration, big success. Obviously, this was one of the shirts. This was one of the big sellers for the weekend. I was pretty lucky to get this shirt. They did.
Is that your flexible?
No.
Oh, okay.
So I want to give a shout out to. I want to get this right. These are my smugglers from Florida. I met this group. Actually, one of the guys I met at San Diego Comic-Con, and then reconnected with him at a D23. Want to give a special shout out to David, Joel, and Mary Lynn for being my bounty hunters in Japan. And hold on a second.
Oh, good.
So I gave them a list of bounty that I wanted. There was quite a bit of cool stuff. And being that we talked kind of hinted about this, was that they did a lot because it was Japan. Japan has, obviously, no offense, has a little bit more culture than the United States, let alone pretty much anywhere else in the world.
Yeah,
that celebration has been.
Yeah.
So Star Wars, again, we talked about this. Japan is the home of Star Wars, and what I mean by that is that George Lucas based 99% of Star Wars on Japanese culture. So a lot of the swag, the artwork and whatnot was based on very kind of anime Japanese style. So one of the things that I wanted was a sake set that had the logo on it. And I also wanted there was a chopstick set that came with these serving dishes to put your soy sauce in or whatever you're dipping, whatever. So the folks that did the quote smuggling for me said, "Oh, we were only able to get you the chopsticks," and I think what they told me was they were able to get me. They basically pulled a fast one on me. Oh, they told me we got you chopsticks and the tea set, these little tea cups from Japan. Yeah. So I was like, so I get this box on my doorstep yesterday or on Friday, and it's a pretty big box. And I'm like, it's pretty big for chopsticks and some tea. But I had no idea about the shirt. This is super cool about the shirt. But this is the box that came. Obviously, it says ceramic bottle and cups set with chopsticks, soy sauce dish set. So I didn't get just chopsticks. I didn't get just the tea set. This is the set that it came in.
Nice.
So this is the logo that I was telling you about. This is the I tried to get as much merchandise with this on it. This is the only stuff they were able to get. They said most of the stuff was picked clean. So what I wanted was they had this and the tea and the sake cups as a set. This was a set, and then this was a set, and then they had just the chopsticks by themselves as well. They were able to find a set that gave me everything, and I was just like over the moon. So let me show you though this logo. It's easier to show you on the tea set. So it's very much in that kind of, like I said, very Japanese style artwork. Really super cool. And then on the back side, it says Star Wars Celebration 2020 Japan 2025, and then says, I believe, JR, I believe that is celebration in Japanese. So there was some that said it in English and everything. There was some that had it completely in Japanese, all of it. And then they had the hybrid. So I believe, obviously, that says Star Wars in English. And I believe the Japanese lettering is celebration. Cool. So that was my flex pool. Again, I can't say thank you enough to Joel, David, and Mary Lynn for smuggling this out of Japan. I just, like I said, could not be happier. And so that's my flex pool. I do have some comic books that I bought. I want to give a shout out to Sid Johnson. He seems to be doing a lot better. For those who don't know, Sid had a little health scare last year. He seems to be doing a lot better. He is going to be going away for the summer back to the Dakotas, or either the North Dakota or the Montana. Anyways, he is going to go up north for the summer. But they will be I think his last big event he's going to do is Free Comic Book Day, which I believe is it this weekend.
I think so. I thought that happened already. April.
I thought that was Superman Day.
I forgot exactly when, but yeah, Free Comic Book Day is usually around like the end of April, isn't it, or beginning of July? Maybe they pushed it.
No, it's. I thought it was in May. Let me see. Free Comic Book Day 2025 is this weekend. It's this Saturday. So,
okay, yeah. So it's the beginning of it's going to be in the beginning of May.
The first Saturday in May.
Okay.
Which will be perfect. It ties in with Star Wars Day, which is a week from today, which is May the 4th. We're hoping. I'm hoping I've got I will have someone on Planet, just hopefully to get us some information about the celebration going on. Hold on. Sorry. Oh, never mind. I thought your girl was going to do the move. Sorry, I was about ready to go. Man. I was about ready to go full Booker T mode here. Oh my gosh, freaking Jordan Grace is just—she's
a beast.
Good gosh, she's a beast.
She's a beast, bro. I cannot wait for the inevitable Zarya versus Jordan Grace match. I cannot wait for it. But yeah. Oh, other than that, let's just hop straight into
Let's get into it. What a week it was! It is the biggest time of the year. It is WrestleMania season. We have been JR and I have been geeked about this ever since Royal Rumble back in January, where I was literally in Disneyland. Speaking of Disney, I was in Disneyland. Oh, by the way, real quick, Star Wars Celebration. One more last thing on Star Wars Celebration. Coming back 2027, LA Convention Center in April 1st through the 4th in 2027. So it returns back to the United States, back to the West Coast. It was in Anaheim last, and now it will be here in LA. It'll be in LA. So it was in Anaheim in 2022. It was in London in 23. It took 24 off, and now it was in Japan this year. It will be in Los Angeles in 2027.
Good.
So back to WrestleMania. A lot going on. It was the epicenter of the wrestling world for about 2 weeks. Of course, WrestleMania last Saturday and Sunday at Allegiant Stadium in Vegas. I got to give a round of applause to the crew at the T-Mobile Center in Vegas and Allegiant Stadium, because they had to turn over the arena, the T-Mobile Arena where the Vegas Knights play. They had to turn it over from hockey to SmackDown, then for Stand and Deliver on Saturday morning, and then had to have it ready for Monday Night Raw on Monday, and then had to turn it over for Vegas playoff hockey. I think the next day, Allegiant Stadium had to be unloaded this week, because guess who was in town last night in Vegas?
Who?
AC/DC was in Allegiant Stadium, sold out rock concert in Vegas last night. So in less than a week, they tore down what people are saying is the biggest WrestleMania set in the history of the event. And by the way, first time ever, they put fans on the stage. That was pretty cool.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Actually, they were up above the entranceway, and they had them on the two sides on the main level. They had fans up on the stage, so pretty cool for that. Obviously, WrestleMania week kicked off on Friday night with SmackDown at the T-Mobile Center, and then of course the Hall of Fame induction ceremony at the was it the Blue Hotel? What was it called?
It was some the amount of
hotel.
Yeah, the amount of stuff that they wanted to do before, for the preamble for WrestleMania was insane. They had to do SmackDown, they had to do the Hall of Fame. They had to do this. They want to destroy whatever record of like the we call it the roast that they had after that. They wanted to destroy everything from that. It's like, well, and then they did that. Then they did the pre-show for it. Then they did another pre-show during, and they did of course they announced AAA, AAA, the wrestling, the wrestling promotion in Mexico, and so in South America, and so like they had just a bunch of stuff announced, and I don't know how you would be a fan and try to afford all this stuff to go to, because again, you can go to the Hall of Fame, you can go to the roast, it's just expensive as hell, and you're also in freaking Vegas for like how long, it's insane. It's absolutely insane the amount of people, the amount of things they crammed into like quite literally 5-6 days or something like that, and so yeah. But heading into like WrestleMania and just in general, right? We get day one or before WrestleMania, we get basically Stand and Deliver, which is like quite literally the morning of.
Yeah.
Right. It's the morning of, and I'm just gonna quick fire them off, okay? Because I know there's a lot of stuff to get to, and we basically going through 3 days. Or like 2 days and 3 main events. So like you have NXT Send and Deliver results, of course. Ricky Saints retained his North American Championship against Ethan Page. Great match, really good match. Definitely Ricky though, he needs to kind of bulk up a little bit. He's in the cruiserweight division right now. He's going to look. They're going to look upon him to go against like bigger guys, possibly Obafemi, possibly Trick Williams before Trick gets a call up. Hank and Tank, the big Fraction. Fraction finally dropped their titles after like having it for I forget how long now, like a year or so, maybe longer than that. The greatest tag team the NXT has had. But yeah, Nathan Frazier and Axiom, they dropped the titles, and Fraction got the call up this quite literally this week. So that's good for them. Soruka, man, have you seen her finisher?
That was insane.
Dude, yeah, Soruka, she is also another homegrown talent, right? She's a California girl. She wins the North American title against Izzy Dame, Kalani Jordan, Lola Vice, Thea Hall, and Zarya. Zarya is her current teammate too. So that's gonna be interesting to see. I think they have a shot. They possibly might have no. They did have a shot at the tag team titles against Liv Morgan and Raquel. I think. The Tuesday after, I think.
Yeah, it was going to be on. It was going to be on NXT. Yeah,
which is insane to me for Liv Morgan to do 3 nights in a row, basically. Right?
Yeah,
or like basically 3 nights in a row. It's insane to me, but hey, man, good for her. That's freaking awesome.
I'll be right back.
Yeah,
you keep going. I'll be.
Yeah, Stephanie Lecure, of course, my girl, the La Primera. She retains her NXT Championship against Julia, who at that point turned heel. Jada Parker and Jordan Grace. Great match. My girls looking freaking fabulous. I hope they continue. I hope that Shawn Michaels, who is the current booker for NXT, have been the current booker. He has been currently the best booker in the last 2 years now at this point. Hopefully, he can truly see the amount of he has seen the amount of talent on just NXT, not just on the men's side, but definitely the women's side now, and just really continues to push the talent there and really try to capture, really trying to capture the fact that we have the NXT women's division is the strongest division in all of wrestling. You don't need you can fight me on that all you want, bro. I'm still gonna win because if you got Stephanie McCurr, and if you got Stephanie McCurr, Julia, and Jordan Grace on one show, yeah, you ain't. It's not. And you got also up and comers like Soruka, you got Zarya as well as Thea Hall back there, Kalani Jordan. I know Kalani Jordan's stock has been kind of dipping a little bit because ever since her semi-heel turn, but she's been great too. And of course, the final match of the night was Obafemi. He retains his NXT championship against Javon Evans and Trick Mother Effin Williams. I love that match too. Oh my gosh, I just cannot say anything more about just Javon Evans, man. He's a beast. That kid, we need to protect him. The amount of stupid shit he does in the sense of like just puts his body on the line every single guy. Like Javon is on this awesome fucking legendary like tour right now where he's having these banger matches against really well renowned or really well rounded wrestlers like I think he had a match with he had a match with Sean Spears, if I remember correctly, before Sean Spears had the North American title. He had a match, of course, with Javon. He had this great feud with Ethan Page for quite a while. He was, I think he had this also another feud before Ethan Page. He was doing a bunch of stuff, dude. Javon, this current feud ish of a Javon and Trick Williams and Obafemi. This kind of ended now though because of what's going to happen. It has been great, awesome. I love it. I just want to again, Javon is the future. Javon's the future. Trick Williams, I will keep on saying this. Trick Williams, he if you give him a great opponent, you'll get a great match. Trick Williams definitely has been the type of guy where like sadly he matches the talent of his opponent a lot of times, and it makes for like really like disjointed matches sometimes, right? He had great matches with Ethan Page. He has banger matches with Javon and with Oba, but like he had some duds with Sean. I think Sean Spears won, as well as the dud with dude, what's his name? Oh my gosh, he had that dud with Chase U alum who basically the guy who it's sad to say this, right? But the guy who basically broke Big E's neck, Ridge Holland. Oh. Yeah, Ridge Holland. Right? That match wasn't great. That match definitely wasn't great. But you know, Trick Williams is definitely the type of guy that will either rise to the talent of his opponent or lower to the talent of his opponent, and you know, take that for what it is. Obafemi, good God, he's gonna be a superstar. Obafemi, his aura, basically, right? It's his prowess, just him being a freaking big name, big dude, meat. Like they would say when Obafemi had fought against Moose, dude. It was great. You know, I just cannot wait until they really push this guy, and hopefully they do him well when he gets his call up eventually. But yeah, just got to ride these guys as much as you can right now for if you're Sean. And so there was that's the whole card. There was a pre-show match that happened. It was the Fatal 4-Way Tag Team Elimination match with three teams. Gigi Dolan and Tam Paxley won against Cara Jade and Roxanne, as well as Fatal 4. The Metaphor. Sorry. And there, I think Gigi and Tatum are gonna have a shot now against. They now have a shot against Stephanie. Not Stephanie. They have a shot against Liv Morgan and Raquel. Hopefully, sometime in the future. That's why we saw them on SmackDown or they were on SmackDown or a Raw just recently, and so that was probably the reason why. And yeah, that was NXT Send Deliver. There was definitely some bad in it. One for me particularly, it was the bad for me wasn't necessarily any of the matches per se. There was some up and down matches. The best match for me was gonna be Stephanie Victoria or Sol Ruka winning the North American title. But like the bad for me had to do with just the fact that you had a great event for me. For me, honestly, it was the better event than actually WrestleMania Day 1, and it didn't sell out. It just didn't sell out. And the main reason why is because you try a couple the tickets in with NXT Stand Deliver to WrestleMania, and now a show that honestly the best seats should have been like $300, and you get front row seats, but they're some absurd prices. And I know that definitely for me that'll be something to talk about later on. Just overall the current bad rot that's been happening, not just only in WWE because PK Holdings, but like just throughout the whole thing too. It's happening with the UFC. It's happening with freaking everything. And so just the amount of like outpricing fans to see. I wanted the world to see Stephanie Victor dominate. She should have dominated in front of a full sold out crowd. The pop that she got, right? When she was in when she went up against spoiler alert, against EO, right? Should have been the exact same pop, right? That she should have got. quite literally the day before or that Saturday before when they're in the same freaking place, right? When it's not really sold out. Everyone there, it should have been a sold out crowd, but it was tied to just, bullshit metrics and like, oh, you want to go to this event? It's an extra, add on an extra $400, right? Or whatever have you. And I would understand fans going, well, we already paying freaking what, $32,000 basically for day one, two, living or just like getting hotels in Las Vegas and all this other shit. Do I really want to spend another, however many dollars, right? Or do I want to eat in in the next couple of days? Like I hate that we have, I hate that we're pricing fans now at the to either to look to go see some of the next upcoming stars in NXT or go eat. Basically, I hate that.
Yeah.
I really do. But what do you feel, or what do you think of the NXT's 10 Deliver?
So far, what I've seen, I like it. I think it's been really well booked, like you mentioned, booked by Shawn Michaels, amongst others. I think that it's harkening back to when Triple H was booking, when Triple H was booking NXT, basically. I don't know how you say this, the original red, gold and black era.
Yep.
Black and yellow, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's good, great storytelling. I think the only downside is that I don't know. I always feel to me like the superstars, and this is the point, is like only the white hot NXT stars are the ones that people know about. You still get like people that are wrestling fans and they show up to WWE, they show up to Raw or SmackDown, those kind of fans. They'll sit there and they'll tell you who the opening card is. They can sit there and they'll tell you who they know who the curtain jerkers are, but they probably couldn't tell you who a curtain jerker is for NXT. And when by being curtain jerker, I mean like they're the opening card match or or whatever. Because I'm looking at some of these matches for Stand and Deliver, and there's a lot of guys I didn't know. I know of Trick Williams. I didn't know of was it how you say his name?
Who?
The champion.
Javon? Oh, Obafemi?
Yeah, I didn't know about him.
Bro.
And I'll be honest, like with the women's division, I don't know about a lot of these women, and I think that's it's really unfortunate is that these guys are the ones that are probably putting on the better show than Raw and SmackDown, but they don't have enough people because it is the minor leagues. And this is where I actually kind of like it, because I think the downside, I think where they went wrong with NXT 2.0 when Vince started producing it, was they were treating it like a third brand. And it's not. People go like, oh, it's the third brand. It's the third brand. I'm like, but it's not. It is the minor leagues. It is the developmental territory. And I actually kind of like it better when they treat it as such. And it's the upside, but it's also the downside, is if you treat it as a developmental series and you keep these superstars humble and you create the hunger by putting them in front of such small crowds, it gives them a little taste of the old territory or the indie circuit, where you had to bust your ass to get noticed and to get to, like back in the day, you went and worked the WCCW in Texas, and then you got the phone call from the Jarretts, from Jerry Jarrett, and you got to go up to Tennessee and work would that be like Mid-Atlantic, and then you get the phone call from Jim Crockett, and you would go to the Carolinas and get to work, there, or you get to work Florida Championship Wrestling, or you got the call from Vince Sr. and got to work in New York. You worked your way up, and then in the 90s and the 2000s, you worked your way up. You ran independents. You worked any freaking high school gym you could. You worked UPW in LA, which was a feeder fed for the WWE, but you worked your way through the independents. So that's what I kind of like about NXT is it has still has a little bit of a independent feel when they're wrestling at in Orlando.
Yeah, which is great. Which is obviously a great feeling right now because like it's before the inevitable like crossover of AEW stars going into WWE. Right, it started last year specifically with I think there was a started of course 2 years ago honestly with the great Cody Rhodes, which we will talk about. But like when NXT started, Ethan Page coming on to AEW from AEW to NXT, you definitely have this whole like, oh, it's nice, it's gritty, it's like really in your face now. You have for me NXT on terms of like not necessarily star power, but more so athleticism and like the real wrestling reps of the sport that we expect WWE to have, it's an NXT, right? And you have these people, these amazing people busting their ass, right? And now because of current development deals as well as like signings and relationships with other brands, now you have Sol Ruka. Sol Ruka before she won her championship, she did a couple shows on TNA. You have her, I think you would have her on other promotions. Same thing with Julia. She did some shows too on other brands. They did more house shows there. What's going to look at now with AAA with the Lucha Entertainment. We're like, I don't know, Lucha Entertainment. I forgot necessarily the full actual official name for, but with AAA, what's that going to look like now? Are they going to turn that into NXT, South America? And that's a great possibility too there. And I like where you went. We're like, yeah, this is more the indies. It's more the minor leagues, right? And for a while now, I was thought like, yeah, it's the minor leagues. It's the developmental league, right? It's supposed to be that way. But because of this huge influx now of AEW stars going into trying to transition from AEW into NXT now, if it's done now in today's day and age, where where locker room isn't as toxic as it once was, that a one CM Punk has talked about for damn near 10 years, right? You have a lot of guys and girls are just hungry and want to learn. But now, you have AEW stars like Ethan Page, like Sean Spears, like you might have Maria May, who is one of the top stars, women stars for AEW coming on now to possibly to be to NXT. Now you look at it, so okay, we have a structure in place. Maybe they could possibly be not the third brand, right, of for WWE, but like maybe a step just below that branding ideal set, right? Because now you have some vets, some full-on vets, right, that have been around, that have seen sold out shows, that are great on the mic, like one Ricky freaking Saints, he's great on the fucking mic. And you can bring him around like people like Obafemi. Ethan Page has been a fucking godsend, dude, to NXT, right? He has been the guy for me, right? That's been like the heel, but he's a company guy. He's an everything. He's a freaking workhorse. He made Javon Evans look fucking phenomenal. The original the four-way match between him when Trick Williams was the champion, Javon Evans and not Mello. I forgot his name. Oh my god, dude, I forgot this other guy's name. Who's a great guy too. He was on NXT Send Deliver, but there's another guy there. They had this amazing four-way match, and he makes everyone look great. And so like Ethan Page coming on and just really bringing people up and just getting a shine on, and you possibly see them transition or get the call up too in the next year or so into WWE, and you have again like Obafemi, Jordan Grace, Javon Evans, Trick Williams, a lot of these like up and coming stars, coming into their own. They're still probably not Jordan Grace, but like majority of the other NXT stars probably about 2-3 years away of like fully being looked at as like, okay, cool, you'll get your call up, right? You'll definitely get your call up. Sadly, there's gonna be some stars that are gonna just stay in NXT, right? Because we see, sadly, we see their limit on their potential. I love Chase U, but I think he's only going to be. I think Chase is only going to be in NXT. It's a great program, but I love Chase U. It's coming back, but he's going to be in NXT. And not only that, but now you have stars that you had stars that were once looked at to be cut from the roster from WWE. They can come to NXT and they can just either get the rust off, or they can work some shows. They get some screen time, because I know that the best thing to do as a wrestler is have screen time more than anything else, and so that gets results too. But yeah, I would love to see NXT really rise up. I think also them hopping on to CW network, that has been great for them. That like you're in CW now, it's funny because like CW has been known for the longest time for being like the show, or for being the network that's like very like teen orientated, right?
Yeah.
And so now a lot of NXT is teen orientated. It's a very like high school, not high school, but like very like in that vein of like, okay, cool, we know the core demographic now, and that's great. For me, that's fucking awesome. I want the backstage, cattiness of the women's division. I want nearly every NXT show. There's a whole freaking brawl with all the guys in the back. Everyone is just fighting. Stuff's getting thrown around. Someone's getting thrown through a freaking through a wall. It's just great. It's awesome. I love it. Right. And that's the type of like stuff like, okay, cool. We're going to see, people are going to tune in every single week to watch NXT, and it shows the numbers been doing great for NXT shows. They're not necessarily as good as, let's say, the Triple H era that were pulling in like, well over, but for right now, for what it is great. It's definitely a great platform. It's definitely a great foundation for a lot of these hungry stars I want to see just rule WWE for the next 10 freaking years, man. But yeah, like NXT, the second that NXT, the second I saw the I forgot necessarily which show it was, but the second I saw Soul Ruga doing her soul finisher, right? And Javon Evans, his first match at NXT. I'm like, all right, cool. I think I'm in with NXT, because I was like you, like, okay, cool. We have some of these guys. We have some of these. We had the legendary run from like not Io Sky, but from Asuka. We've had some of that stuff, and all those players now are on WWE main roster. And so I was kind of in and out NXT. Now, dude, bro, if you want to see like the full on 90 or like early 2000s wrestling, you watch NXT. These are the guys and girls that will go through freaking walls to get a cheer. So,
and that's why I think you're going to see. They're going to use. I think you're right. I think that this is the landscape that the Triple H originally wanted, with the different, the different international areas to develop NXT. So I think Triple A is going to be used as kind of an NXT South or NXT Mexico. I hope they keep the name. And this goes. You and I talked about this. Oh my god, that was a hell of a move.
Which one? What you're looking at?
Shit. Who is this big old son bitch?
Oh, you're talking the last match? It's probably Olufemi.
You're
talking about the big dude?
Yeah, he just picked up both dudes and body slammed them.
Yeah, that's Olufemi. I'm telling you, bro. I'm telling you, dog. And so, like, you should definitely watch Olufemi's matches. And
bro,
sorry to cut you off.
No, dude. This is nice.
He got superstar.
He is the Black Ultimate Warrior.
I'm fucking telling you, dog. Obafemi got superstar written all over him, bro.
Yeah,
he has superstar written all over.
Holy shit! What the fuck was that? What the fuck was that?
I'm trying to remember exactly the scene. Did you see? Was Javon doing his cutter?
No, he held the guy up in the air and then dropped him and freaking put him right into his knees. Holy shit.
Bro, I'm telling you, they go crazy.
These guys nuts. Are fucking insane.
Dude, Javon Evans is my fucking young superstar king, dog. I'm telling you. Trick Williams, man, he rises to the level of his opponents, man. So when you give him S tier shit, he goes double S tier, man. Trick Williams, man, like if Trick Williams, right, the one with the long dreads, if he gets up right? If he gets truly pushed correctly, right, you
They
will
all got
definitely
dreads
hear.
on. What are you talking about?
Oh no, the one with the longest dreads, but like he's not the tallest guy. He's like the middle guy, right? They're all still pretty. Like I think the tallest guy there is Javon, and Obafemi is the big guy. So the next guy there, that's Trick Williams. If Trick Williams gets pushed onto WWE and he gets a really great push, I'm telling you, his entrance is gonna be the entrance that's gonna be, like Jey Uso's, like Cody Rhodes. Whoop that trick, I'm telling you, bangs. Whoop that trick, fucking bangs, bro. And so
this match is insane.
I'm telling, dog, you should really
What
see.
the fuck was that?
Which one? Tell me. I want to watch.
They were in the corner, and the dude in the blue trunks, tried to do a move, and then he ducked it, and he went into like some kind of dude. I'm telling you, if you haven't watched, guys, if you guys following us right now, if you're a wrestling fan and you've not gone and watched Stand and Deliver, go on to Peacock and watch Stand and Deliver. The whole show kills, but there is some moves in this main event that is good freaking God.
I am telling you, bro. If you see Javon Evans versus Ethan Page in there, they did a match in New York City, and Javon did a flying cutter. Ethan Page was on the ropes on the outside, and there was a table on the floor, right? And Javon jumped the ropes, did a flying cutter into the table from the top. Like it was insane. I'm telling you,
like a reverse RKO.
Yeah, they're fearless. They're freaking fearless, and I'm getting scared when I see that shit because I want Javon Evans to have a long career. I'm telling you. All right, can't say anything more. It's too long already. We gotta go into. I'm gonna try to not speed round, but
go for it, bro.
Rather quickly. For WrestleMania. All right, day one, Jey Uso, Tabs Gunther for the World Heavyweight Championship.
It's what we know now. It's like I see why they did it.
Yeah.
But
for one thing here, I just want to check me out real quick. This isn't to you, my buddy. This is to the fucking this is to the Internet World Champion, the IWC, right? This is to all of them hating on Jey Uso. Fuck them. Fuck all of internet wrestling community, right? Who just constantly wants to hate on Jey Uso because he's only good because he has an over freaking entrance and all that. He hasn't wrestled. Like, bro, shut the fuck up, man. He's the hottest ticket right now. Shut the fuck up. Right? They're doing the best thing. Gunther has only lost to 3 people. One of them is Jey Uso. The second one, he's coming back from an ACL tear. He's coming back soon.
I'm happy for Jay.
Yeah.
Gunther is a stud, and what we know now, obviously he requested some time off. He's been really, to be honest, he's been carrying the heavyweight division, and we've talked about this before. I don't like the idea of having 2 main titles, and I get one's for Raw, one's for SmackDown, but that was pretty cool. But I honestly, in my opinion, is that you should have one champion, the WWE champion. I understand they needed to get where they needed to with John Cena and Cody Rhodes. I think that was a better match. I don't know. I have a problem with the heavyweight championship belt.
I get it.
And also, it's like you have. Well, the other problem I have too is you have a guy. The whole point of winning the Royal Rumble is you get to pick the. You're supposed to be facing the heavyweight champion or the company champion, which would be the WWE champion, and be in the main event of WrestleMania. This is where I get into. I have a problem with the two night format. I think it was proven that you could have taken almost all of the matches out of night one and been okay with it. Plug in the WWE Tag Team Championship match into WrestleMania.
Yeah.
I hate to say it, I would not have had, if it were up to me, Charlotte doesn't win the Royal Rumble. I think that you would have had have either Rhea or what's her name? The other girl that was in the championship match.
Bianca?
Bianca. You either Bianca or Rhea win the championship, win the Royal Rumble, and choose to face Io Sky, or go that route. That's your champion, because that was the better match. I know you like Tiffy time, but Tiffany Stratton versus Charlotte Flair was an absolute
It was a dud.
It was a dud. I hate to say it, as good as Charlotte is, Tiffany carried that match. And that one shouldn't be there. And again, this goes to, you shouldn't have two main titles. You should have one main championship. And to be honest, I don't think that Charlotte earned the right to be there. She'd been out. And I think, she's a better heel. She is her dad. Yeah. She's a better heel. And they should have built up to it and have her fight at SummerSlam or work towards WrestleMania 42 and have another match between her and Rhea. Because to be honest, Rhea is way over. I mean, she is massively over. She is probably the Stone Cold Steve Austin of the women's division right now.
Yeah, I will say
she's that hot.
Yeah. I will say there has been reports of like Rhea really not fucking with Charlotte. So that's probably one of the reasons why they canned that idea, because of what's been happening specifically with Charlotte coming back and all that stuff, and just the feud that wasn't that was way beyond kayfabe, right? With the feud between Charlotte and Rhea. I will say that I do understand the heavyweight champion bit from you now, more so in this case, but like at the same time, I feel like this is just because like the result of, let's be honest, one of the greatest reigns of all freaking time, Roman Reigns, right? They saw they saw what happens when you strap on two belts to one guy who's there not even half the time, right? And so
and he got it over.
He did get it over, but at the same time, it's like that means everyone else basically everyone else they didn't have to fight for second place. You're talking like one of the biggest things. One of the biggest things for me specifically is that it was that even when he during Roman's half of his tenure, right, when he was part-time, half is him wrestling, right? The other half was him doing promos, and that's great. Sometimes you just need that. But like one thing, the biggest workhorse for me personally will say in the WWE outside of Cody Rhodes, or even before Cody Rhodes, is Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins has busted his fucking ass for how many years? He's come in beaten up. They strapped the title on him because they know he'll be there every single week. He'll be there for every house show. He'll be there for every house show. He'll be there for every signing event. He'll be there for Raw, even for SmackDowns if they need him on there. And so he'll be there to defend the title as well. And so I could understand. It would just more so for me, like I understand your position now, but I just think for me, like not the consequences, but like just the results of like, one having one of the greatest reigns of all time, Roman Reigns, and him now because he's older and that he is asking for a lot of money, right? For his screen time on there, and he deserves it, absolutely. Don't get me wrong, but like to see a working champion, I would love to see a working champion. We got that. We got that with Seth. And then we also got that with Cody. Cody was there every single week too. The first night, the SmackDown after WrestleMania 40, he fought against Carmelo Hayes that night, and so that was a championship match. He did all his matches. I saw some crazy freaking stat, right, where it was where Cody Rhodes in his first year, right, nearly matched all of Roman's like matches, right, in the last 3 years. It's like just for like doing one, not just live events but house shows, and facing the same opponent. Sure, you face the same opponent 3-4 times, right? But like those stuff, right? So I understand this idea now, like, oh no, when we strap the title on you, we know you're gonna be here every single week, type of thing. I feel like they're doing that now with Jay, with the World Heavyweight Championship, and they're gonna be on Raw. I just feel like it has to be on Seth, for the longest time, has carried WWE, the Monday night shows. He has carried it
without the belt,
without the belt, and with the belt, with World Heavyweight Championship. He has had to make that look good. He's had to make that look really freaking good, right? And not be looked upon as like not to be looked upon as like, oh, you can have that title. That what Roman said before. You can have that title, right? And so he has carried that really freaking well now. I will say, Gunther, he is a fucking steady ass workhorse too. I'm glad he's taking a break because before his 1 year run now being World Heavyweight Champion, he also was like Intercontinental Champion for like 3 years, and he's had house shows. He's been in every house show too. He just basically wants some time off. And yeah, cool. Take your time off. Choke the fuck out of what's the name? Out of Pat McAfee, right? And be quote unquote, we're gonna suspend you for whatever, how long, a month or a month and a half or a couple months now, right? Go and be with your wife and your nice tour bus and just do shows, or just go at events, whatever. Dude, just go do what the hell you want. You're Gunther. So I'm happy about him. I'm happy for him. So pushing that alongside. This pissed me off. This one right here pissed me off. The New Day finally gets the win for the championships against War Raiders. And why does this piss me off, Kevin?
It just was kind of an match.
Not just that. It took them way too fucking long. When you have one of the greatest, and I think for me personally, might be even a greater like heel turn than Cena's. One of the greatest heel turns of all time.
Oh yeah, they've been nuclear hot.
Here's the thing, they were, but then they haven't done anything with it. That's the sad thing. They haven't done fucking shit with it. I thought they were gonna like not strap the titles the next like 2 weeks, but like at least a match. They've had a match after that heel turn. They didn't have a match for a month.
Yeah,
that's insane. And so now you finally give them, yes, you gave the Mania and you strap the titles to them, but at the same time, my bigger problem with WWE, specifically the Raw side, the titles don't mean that much. Sadly, because the tag team division on the Raw side at least isn't good. Sadly, it sucks to say they're just not good. They got to fix that. They really got to fix that. The tag division on the Raw side at least, right? The next one, Jade Cargill wins against Naomi. I will say, one of the matches, if you want to do your inevitable, like, bring that into one day, I think Jade Cargill versus Naomi should stay. That's for me.
Yeah, that was it told a story. That was one of those that it
mattered
needed
more
to be told, and it was a good match. I think it did wonders for both. I think that it got Naomi some more heat, and I think
Jade looks good. She looks better. She looks better on the ring.
Yeah, she did. Yeah, she did.
Bro, I've been marking up that tree for years too, bro.
Finally, JR,
I'm glad you're on. I'm glad you're here.
She came on, and I remember she came on, and I was like,
chiseled out of freaking.
I don't know. I wasn't completely sold on it, and then I don't know. I texted JR last week, and I'm like, all right, you say what you want to say, but Jade Cargill, yeah, I like you.
Yeah. Bro. I would not be surprised if they asked her to be freaking Storm. I would not, or possibly someone else that's a freaking powerhouse. If Ryan Coogler went to her, asked her to be in the X-Men movie or whatever movie, next Marvel movie, I would not be surprised. I legitimately would not be surprised. I would not be surprised. But yeah, kill Jade Cargill. Jacob fought too, defeating LA Knight for becoming the new United States champion.
Yeah, and I think unfortunately for fans of, but then again, it kind of changed a little bit on Monday Night Raw. Was dude's over? The dude is over, and Fatu, he's broken out of the shell, and I think that the thing that was that a lot of people commented on about his match with LA Knight, which was a good match, and I think it's another match that probably should have stayed on the card. Is Fatu stepped out, and what's it called? He stepped out of the shadow, and I think that people started to realize that they've got a better investment in Jacob Fatu than they do in Solo Sikoa.
No, here's the thing I've been talking about, right? I've been on this bloodline run for quite a minute, right? Here's the crazy thing. Plans change, right? And having oh my god, dude, what's his name? Yeah, having Tongaloa, right? I think it was Tongaloa, right? How he's out for extended amount of time because I think he I think
he got hurt.
He got hurt, right? As well as oh my god, who's the other guy that was with them during Elimination Chamber? It was not Elimination during War Games. The big guy, right? Who broke his tailbone, right?
Oh, shit.
Him,
I can't
right?
think of his name.
I forgot too, but like that's supposed to be your bloodline 2.0. That was they were supposed to feud a lot more. Things happen, injuries happen, right? And so Jacob Solo had to take a huge step back, right?
Yep.
Because one, you just can't leash up the Samoan werewolf. You just can't. He's too much of a fucking freak of nature. And I'm glad we got him. Because I saw some of his pre-stuff, right? Before he went to WWE, he has lost. And this is, for me, I'm happy that WWE does this. He was a much, much bigger Samoan, right? Outside WWE. Every time, like, you see, like, oh, if you want to come wrestle with us, you got to lose some poundage, bro. You have to. You have to lose some poundage.
He's slimmed down. He's lean, but he still has that bulk to him. It's kind of like that's why I thought I was so shocked about how big of how much of a run that Kevin Owens got, because Kevin Owens is he's a fat, and his look, he's fat, and his look is this kind of slob, but he's a worker, and I think that was probably Triple H going, "Hey Vince, just trust me on this guy."
Yeah.
Kevin Owens had a group of matches back when he first broke in with John Cena that were Hall of Fame worthy.
Yeah.
And they were phenomenal matches. Yep. And Jacob Fatu, when he came in, I was like, I was thinking to myself, I hope they don't make him lose weight, because he's at that perfect kind of like Kevin Owens weight. He's not overly fat, but he's not. He needs to be big and monstrous. Yeah. And there was a couple times he'd get blown up, and I think that he's also one of those Samoan guys that they all have a reputation for, is they think they can go out and party and then roll out of bed and do this in their sleep, like what Yokozuna used to do, but you just can't. And so he was a little blown up with LA Knight, but I think that was just working to the level of his opponent. Yeah. But I like his look, and I think though after Monday Night Raw, because they still have him rolling with Solo Sikoa, is he's still very much internally as a heel, and I hope they work him that way. But he's massively over. That was a good match.
Yeah, bro.
El Grande Americano versus Rey Fenix.
Cut. Okay, but let me just go back just one real quick to LA Knight. Honestly, I wouldn't be mad if you cut that and have him fight on a SmackDown. It will probably piss the fuck off of LA Knight because he won his WrestleMania moment, right? Yeah, it's probably the same thing with Jacob, but like, I don't know. We'll definitely get into it, but like, if he took out that match specifically and put in the match that we said we wanted.
The only reason, and this goes back to the Roman Reigns, when you talk about Roman Reigns, had 2 championships for 3 years. And what was everybody else wrestling for? Like think about what happened in those 3 years. What elevated? The IC title and the US title. They elevated. That's what a TV championship is for. That's why that's what WCW used to do. WCW had the World Heavyweight Championship, had the old NWA, the big gold belt, the Ric Flair belt, whatever you want to call it. And they'd put it on Hogan. It'd be on Hogan. It'd be on Sting. It'd be on Kevin Nash. It'd be on Goldberg. It would be on whoever, and it would only get defended on pay-per-view. But what elevated? The U.S. Championship and the WCW TV Championship. Those elevated the second-tier championships. And if you go back to the Attitude Era, where, the belt did flip-flop a lot, but is very rarely that you had Stone Cold Steve Austin defending the WWF Championship on Monday Night Raw, but you saw Ken Shamrock, you saw X-Pac, you saw Billy Gunn, you saw Val Venus, The Godfather, all those guys defending the Intercontinental Championship.
I will push back. I will push back just a little bit on that, because like when you talk about definitely Intercontinental title definitely elevated the championship. Not the United States champion. Definitely not the United. Logan Paul having the title, only defending it like 4 times in like freaking 3 years.
But
is bad.
But it took a feud. But here's the thing: is it put heat on that championship as a heel. He only defended it 4 times. He is. There are guys. There are 3 people. There are 3 people in the WWE right now that have heat that any wrestler wishes they had. The number 1 heat magnet right now in the company is Liv Morgan, and you can't even argue with me on that. Everyone likes her because she's hot, but she can get heat like nobody's business. Number 2, and it's really close, is Dom. Now Dom was over, but Dom knows how to get heat. The dude went on Logan Paul's podcast and played stupid and asked, "Hey, dude, why can't you go to Japan?" Like, the guy knows how to get heat. Yeah. Dominic Mysterio is a dick. Yeah. And I'm like, and the third guy is Logan Paul, because he's an asshole and no one likes him. No one will ever like Logan Paul. And he just plays the douchebag heel.
I guess, man, but I think that that type of we will never. I don't think people will ever want to root for him either. The
good,
and I get that point, right? To truly be just a heel, right? To be truly there's never from in my history, right, of WWE specifically, there hasn't been a heel that stayed a heel, right? There hasn't been a successful heel that stayed a heel, right? Where where even you might want to say Stone Cold, right? He's always been a heel, right, quote unquote, but he was a baby face because how much of a fucking heel he was in that sense, right? Where people
he was an they called him an anti-heel. Yeah, his anti-heel. He was supposed to be a bad guy, but
then he was just so over with the crowd, and I think that will never happen with Logan because of how much of a dick he is in real life. The dude showed a fucking person who committed, taking himself on camera. I don't think you can get back to any of that. I don't think
I hope
Logan you could ever,
Paul
bro.
is never a face. He should be a heel to the day he retires. Yeah. And by the way, I have nothing wrong with what Karrion Kross said. I think if anything, it helped get Karrion Kross over, and it put more heat on Logan Paul and made him a bigger dick. Triple H, if you're watching, which I doubt, but if you're watching, don't ever make Logan Paul a face, because they will revolt against you. It would be like trying to make Charlotte Flair a face. Charlotte Flair is not a face. She's a heel.
It will be worse. It will be worse than when they would try to fucking push Roman as a face.
Oh, yeah. No, 100 times worse.
It will be worse. It took Roman saying that, hey, I gotta leave the company because I have cancer, and people like, oh, hey man, hey, cool. We understand that the kayfabe, all that stuff's gone now. Hey, if Logan Paul says, hey guys, I gotta step away because of WWE because of personal health issues, right? Possibly cancer. Yeah. You know what people are gonna do? They're gonna cheer, saying, yeah, you should possibly, it's gonna be bad, bro. It's gonna be bad, but it's toxic bad. I think that's the thing too, is it's cool for in the sense of like, cool, yeah, you got the guy who's gonna have ultimate heat. I think right at this point in time, he's up there with fucking Hogan. At this point, no one gives a fuck about Hogan. I certainly fucking don't give a fuck about Hogan, right? At this point, with all the crazy shit he's freaking said, but like, it's very much that sense. It's like, I honestly genuinely feel bad for this guy because he obviously has athletic skill and talent, right? But I don't think he will ever be over in the same way I think that a lot of WWE is trying to push him that way. Like, yeah, well, he'll be a heel
for Logan Paul.
Logan, yeah, he'll be a heel for some amount of time.
I have been I've seen him wrestle. I went to WrestleMania in LA a couple years ago, and I can tell you this much: is he over with the fans as a face? No, and he never will. But I can attest to here's the thing: is if you get no reaction. Sorry, my laptop is dying, so I better plug her in. I'm trying to plug in the power into the wrong slot, dumbass. Why isn't the plug going in? The guy from a heat magnet standpoint, the guy is over.
I get that, but like, it's just he's never going to like.
He'll never be a face.
That's what I'm saying. The guy could
cure cancer, and he'll never.
He'll never cure if he gives away everything that he owns to the poor. People will still fucking hate him, because they genuinely hate him as a person. Yep. I think that's the biggest thing. That's the biggest thing, man.
And yet,
I don't know.
Here's your biggest heat magnet, and I will say this is, I would have cut his match from WrestleMania.
I would definitely
and that's no detriment. That's not a dig on AJ Styles, because it actually was a pretty good match, but I would have cut
him 20 minutes. They gave him 20 minutes. I think that was that was penned as like the second longest match of all of WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Right? I think that was it. That's crazy to me.
Now before we get to the obviously the match that we said El Grande Americano versus Rey Fenix. Hey, Ray did everything he could in 24 hours notice to handle that match. I'm glad he got his WrestleMania moment.
Should have been more.
It actually was a good match, but again, I probably would have cut it. And knowing what we know now with the acquisition of AAA, I would have held off on that feud and built it more and more and more, and let Chad Gable, El Grande Americano, get more heat and have him wrestle at Worlds Collide.
Wait. Idea. Have Grande Americano have another teammate in Logan Paul, but a Lucha Libre in a luchador form, and have them be the two ultimate fucking dickbags to go across the border. If you really want to go into this, which they have been with Grande Americano, let's go fucking full into this and have the most ultimate heat, right?
Oh, yeah.
Let's let them go across the Gulf of America and be seen as the fucking colonizer Americans into AAA Lucha Libre wrestling, and try to dismantle everyone there. I would, bro. If we want to go full on ham 2000s, right? With The Rock saying some, oh, what's up, Frenchie, right? Shit, all that stuff. Let's just go to it. Fuck it.
Yeah,
fuck it. We're here already, I guess, right? Well, let Logan Paul again go to a freaking graveyard and find someone hanging again. Let's do that shit, I guess. Jesus Christ. Let's get the heat going, man.
Oh Lord.
Because Grande Americano. Oh my God. Yeah, that shit didn't cut, but at the same time.
So far, I would have cut that match. Tiffany Stratton versus Charlotte Flair. We've talked about it. It was kind of a dud. I would have cut that match. So right now, we're heading to the main event. Jey Uso and Gunther. If I had my way, I would have never booked that match. I would have cut the New Day War Raiders match. I would have cut the El Grande Americano Ray Phoenix match, and I would have cut the Tiffany Stratton Charlotte Flair match. I would have kept the main event. Seth versus Roman versus CM Punk. I almost said I would have rather it had been just CM Punk versus Seth Rollins, but I see now why Roman was involved, and I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
That was a good match.
That was a great match.
You have three guys, three future Hall of Famers, and just Paul Heyman can sell like a sumbitch.
Yep.
Oh my God, just bravo. Great job by those four men. They did a phenomenal job. So trying to cut down the fat on WrestleMania, I would have cut at least 3 matches off of night 1.
Night 2, let's go.
Did you like? Was there anything you liked from night 1?
Jay, other than the tap from Jay, that's the tapping out Gunther. Definitely, I would probably say the last match was the best match. Jacob Fatu defeating Jacob Fatu, just one and seeing him come up, that was great too. Definitely should have been a better match. I feel like Jacob the next year is going to be a much better version of Jacob. He's younger than everyone else, than all the other Usos, right? And so he's hopefully going to get in better shape. The biggest reason why I feel like he should get in better shape is, one, to save his fucking knees. The amount of flips this guy does and lands on his knees on the canvas is a lot, right? So that's the reason. That's one of the biggest reasons why I want him to lose weight, because Samoans, all their weight goes to their fucking hamstrings and knees, dog. So that's for me. Just 2 matches specifically, or the 3 basically, right? Jay Tap, Jacob Fatu, and of course the final match of the night. Main event. So that one going straight into night 2, though. Well, unless you have questions.
Dude, bro, night 2, you hit a home run out of the gate. This is like Mookie Betts, or this is like Shohei walking up to the plate in the bottom of the first inning at Dodger Stadium, first pitch, and goes 500 over the center field fence. Io Sky, Bianca Belair, who I'm going to throw myself under the bus. I'm not a fan. Not a fan.
You and hundreds of other people who are booing her for some crazy reason.
Just not a fan. I don't get it. I've seen her wrestle at WrestleMania.
Yeah,
I don't get it.
I will say this,
but
right?
But her, beyond her, Io and Rhea worked their fucking ass off.
Yeah,
and they got that match over.
Right.
And I even tweeted, or I posted right after the match. I said, first match of night 2. This is the match of the night, match of WrestleMania, and I don't think there's anybody else that's going to be able to beat it.
No.
It was close, and it was the very next match. Dominic Mysterio versus Penta versus Braun Breaker versus Finn Balor.
Yeah, that was a good match too.
That was a great match, and I almost wanted to go like Finn Balor didn't need to be there, but then I think to tell the story at the end, he did. So again, I forget the storytelling aspect of it, but that was a moment I remember where there was a I don't know if it was it was a NXT takeover, when they used to do the NXT takeover. Was the Saturday night, but back when they only did one night for WrestleMania, and NXT was on Saturday night. That was the night before. There was a women's match that was the semi-main, so it was the second from the top, and they walked through after they did the match. It was probably like Charlotte Flair versus like Bayley or something like that. And they walked through the curtain, and the main event for that night was like, "Thanks," and like the girls are like, "Why?" He goes, and Triple H goes, "Go ahead and say it. Go ahead, girls, go ahead and say it." And they're like, "What?" He's like, "Hey guys, top that. That's match of the night." And so they went out there, and the guys knew they had to top that. So that's the way I looked at it. Was when I saw Io Sky, Bianca Belair, and Rhea Ripley. And I know a lot of them, because of timing, they go off to the side of the rampway.
Yeah.
But one of those, like a match like that, fuck that. No, I go back through Gorilla. I go right back through Gorilla,
Yeah.
especially knowing what match is next, and go, "Hey boys, top that." Oh hell yeah. I'd be proud of that shit. And but and they went out there and Dom freaking killed it.
Yeah, going back to specifically for me for the EO retaining, right? Bianca Belair. I will say for me, it's just my opinion. I feel like the reason why she gets more heat right now nowadays is because just like one the sub story that they've had with her being involved with Naomi and with Jade, right? And how like she was the unwilling participant, right? Maybe that was from feud, but I feel like also if you want to talk about the Shield, remember before I used to give this the Shield aspect scenario, right? Like you have one guy you have two guys really great at the mic, and one guy who's really great fucking technically, and one guy who's just kind of crazy and out there, and he's not that shined on, and you have one guy who's just not really good, right? And that was Roman back in the day, right? He's just there to be do 3 or 4 good moves, and that's it, right? In this case, right, of Jade is obviously at the point is Roman. Naomi, crazy enough, is Seth, and Bianca is actually is what's his new name now?
Oh, John Moxley.
Is Moxley, right? Is Mox. And so Bianca hasn't necessarily been she's definitely one of those fighters. Oh, she's one of those wrestlers where she relies heavily on her strength, right? And her athleticism over a lot of like technical skill, right? And you can't necessarily, it's hard to get away with that, especially in the women's division where you have Io Sky, right? Who is technical as hell. And she can get away with that against Rhea because Rhea isn't necessarily the most technical wrestler herself, right? And so you have two basically power wrestlers against one technical, athletic, jumping everywhere will destroy you, wrestling Io Sky. And we can understand why like Io won because she's the better wrestler. She's been the better wrestler for the better part of like fucking 5 years now. And so I can understand why people hate on Bianca right now and why you would think that she's not a great wrestler. Yeah, she has necessarily been a great wrestler. It's like she's more so in the same vein of like the John Cena's of the world as well as the Roman Reigns, where she has like 3 or 4 good moves, 3 or 4 moves that she goes back to coincidentally, all for to save her freaking limbs. And I get that, I understand that. Going on to dirty freaking Dom winning the Intercontinental Championship against Braun Breaker. Those boys put on a fucking barn burner.
Fucking barn burner.
Barn burner.
Absolutely.
We can just not care about the next matches. We just really don't. We don't need to care. We really don't. We wouldn't need to care the next 3 matches because honestly, again, Logan beating AJ, Lyra Valkyria getting Becky Lynch, her coming back, and them winning the championship titles for a day, right? For one single day, and of course Randy Orton RKOing John Hendry, right? That was still a great spot for John.
It was great. It was bam, 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 like the Joe Hendry spot. Then you had the Logan Paul AJ style. Could have thrown that match out. I get why, but the women's tag match. I'm right there. I'm a big Bayley fan. Do I think they did her dirty? Not necessarily. I think it was what they needed to do to get I get why they did it.
Yeah.
To get Becky Lynch reintroduced, give her big splash.
Yeah.
You get her this white hot heat only for her to do a dastardly deed and then get her nuclear heat. And I look at this people that were complaining like, well, why they give them the tag belts for just one night? I look at it this way. There's a reason why. Okay. If you knew that, okay, you get the return match, right? on Monday Night Raw. So Raquel Rodriguez and Liv Morgan have their return match. They get their rematch on Monday Night Raw. Why have that if you know they're going to lose?
Yeah.
So it's almost like to legitimize a return match, you have to have them lose. And you use it to take her sometimes to get heat, you have to get some face pop, some to get over. So I was okay with how that was handled. I get it from a storytelling standpoint, and I think it only makes I think it actually helps what's her name? Lyra. Yeah, I think it helps her because she becomes a sympathetic babyface.
Yeah.
And
I will
say if she goes to do a program with Becky Lynch for the IC title, if anything, it makes that IC title mean something.
Now, here's the thing too. Like, and a lot of people. This is one of the conversations too online. Like, why are some of these? Because this whole thing, right? The whole tag team match, right? Women's tag team match for WrestleMania came from this whole thing of like, if you remember, like a couple of Raws as well as not just Raws, I think, right? Where you had where you had a bunch of teams, right? Kind of go against each other for elimination style, right? And you had like well-established teams. You had Metaphor. You had Gigi and Tim Paxley. You had the other tag divisions for women's there, right? And then you had freaking Lyra Valkyria with not Becky, but you had her with Bailey. Two people that they've only just wrestled each other once, and now you have them be a tag team, and they win, and they're going to Mania now, right? That is like, why? You know, like, why did you have those two people that barely was wrestling together a week ago prior? Why do they have Mania event, right? And then now I feel like you have to make that. You have to, if you make this decision, you have to make it make sense in the end, right? So ultimately, what's going to happen is that Becky Lynch was the reason why Bailey was taken out, and she was given the spot, and that they win, then they lose. That gives Lyra the nod saying that she was a one-day champion, tag team champion, and that gives Becky the one-day tag team champion as well. They come back, they lose again, they drop the titles on Raw. Lyra, if I remember correctly, she's Scottish, as well as Bex, and now you have possible big feud between those two. You might have Bailey come back and be in the corner now of either Lyra, or also probably go against Becky, because that'd be a great feud. That'd be a great feud as well there. And so I'm hoping that this somehow makes sense in the end. Again, long-term storytelling is definitely something that the Hunter wants to do, and I'm letting it breathe, because obviously I want to be, momentary and like be in the moment and say, oh, this makes no fucking sense. But I'll let it breathe, because they've done really freaking well with a lot of other storylines, right? I'll just let that breathe. The last match tonight, John Cena winning the 17th, beating Cody Rhodes.
They fumbled that one.
I thought, like, I have a sneaking suspicion, honestly, though, like, that this is the reason. This is the way John wanted to do it. But I get you. I 1,000% get you. Where they definitely fumbled. It was like, okay, the main reason why freaking Cody lost is to fucking, what's his name? To who's the guy that came out again? The rapper, I forgot his name.
Travis Scott.
To Travis Scott. That's it, right? It took Roman 4 fucking legends, right? It took how many legends to beat him, basically, right? With the greatest of all time there, and you get Travis Scott. Really, that's such a big letdown from last year specifically. But I feel like this is a subversion attempt, where that's kind of been in the same wheelhouse of what John's been doing, John Cena.
Yeah,
because like when he comes out to anything, no fireworks, no big. If you notice too, like his name placard is just his name, John Cena. There's nothing behind it. Name. It's just his name. The background, like John Cena. And I feel like that's what he wants to do. I feel like it's intentional that he wants us like, yeah, I'm gonna be just plain as a motherfucker because you guys don't deserve it.
Exactly.
You don't deserve it.
I 100% agree with it. And his promo on Monday was epic.
Dude, I feel like that's how it's gonna be.
It was just a letdown of a match on Sunday, and it's like everyone's like, well, would you cut that match? I'm like, you kind of can't cut that match.
You can't.
I just wish that they could have gone a little bit longer.
Yeah.
Let the match breathe a little bit more. I think it did. I think everyone's like, well, where's The Rock? Where was, it made no sense with all the storytelling that they told leading up to it.
Yeah.
So I don't know. There was a lot of confusion. I think there was just like, bad. That was the example of bad storytelling.
Yeah. Here's the problem too, specifically with the how am I trying to explain this, right? If this whole thing was a subversion technique in order to tell John's version of the story, John Cena's version of the story, how he wants to do his final, couple of runs now, where he just basically is bare bones. Because somehow, I don't know, there's an avant-garde way of saying that, the reason why I haven't been outperforming everyone lately is because this is what you guys deserve now, blah, blah, blah. You should see the first 19 years of my career, blah, 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 whatever the fuck he wants to say, right? If it's some weird subversion technique where he's like, oh, we're supposed to appreciate this moment now because, this is the last time we'll get him. And the last of him we'll get is this weak shit, right? I don't know if that's what he's going for. The one reason why I have a problem with this, I can understand it from a storytelling standpoint, but the one reason why I personally have a problem with this is that, like, you had people quite literally pay thousands upon thousands of dollars to see something great. And they did. They technically did. 17th World Championship, won, right? They technically did see something great, but it wasn't as advertised as was what we had last year. And you had people possibly take a fucking lien on their house to go watch you in your last WrestleMania. You had people take a fucking lien on their house, take up some, like, what was it? Randy Orton? I think Randy Orton met some fans, right? And the fans said some along the lines of like, yeah, we're paying about $30K, just to be here to watch you. And I think the tickets were somewhere around like 20 some fucking crazy number.
Yeah,
and Randy's like, what?
He thought it was ridiculous. Yeah.
He was like, what? It's like, yeah. It's like, that's the main problem. Like, I get you're trying to do this for on the aspect of like wanting to, tell the story. But when the story costs tens of thousands of dollars, bro, I don't know, man. It's like, is The Rock gonna just appear on a fucking random Backlash? Is that the case? Yeah, delete that comment if you can. Like, is he gonna do, like, gonna be on a random freaking Backlash somewhere? Is he gonna be, is he gonna show up to, like, I don't know, freaking to a European match? Absolutely, probably not. And so that's the one problem I have, where because of how WWE now is super successful, right? And they are, they are demanding such high prices for a lot of these tickets now for the last like 4 or 5 years now. Honestly, at this point, it's just, it just doesn't feel like a lot of fans are going to want to go. It's going to be a lot of influencers. It's going to be a lot of people that can be able honestly pay the money for it or get sponsored by WWE in order to go there. But it's just, I don't know. It sucks to think that this might be the last chance we will see John Cena at a WrestleMania, and he wins off of a bare belt buckle or off a bare buckle and a championship smash to the head twice, right? And that's it. Before that, the match was good. The match was actually pretty phenomenal, honestly. OG shit, they're calling their shots. They're calling where they want to get hits. Where they want to take their bumps and falls. And it felt old school. I thought they were going to go for an hour because it looked like they were about to go for an hour. And they went for like 25.
You and I both said that,
Yeah, they're going for like 25, 35 minutes, right? I think that was the tighter match. I'm like thinking like, damn, that's really short if it's just a one-on-one match. And if that was the decision for them to say like, hey, yeah, this was an avant-garde-esque, way of telling this story that I want to tell by having a minimalist style, like, okay, cool, but it costs someone on the up tens like $10,000 or so just to see your ass, bro, for the last final time, and you're a heel. Is this honestly you sticking to that point? I feel bad for the fans that pay a certain amount in order to do that. But yeah, especially when some of the better matches didn't happen in WrestleMania. If you waited a day, right, and you went to the Raw after SmackDown, I will say the second match between Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez versus Lyra Valkyria and and
Becky
freaking Becky was probably the better match.
Yeah, it was a good match.
It was the better match it was better than their first match, in my opinion. What else came out? That of course, freaking, the Raw after SmackDown wasn't necessarily too crazy. I mean, actually, it was crazy, but like it didn't have a lot of matches, right? Jay came around, they did a celebration for that. They had Rusev come back, right? The biggest thing for me specifically is the best match, the second best women's match of the night, right? Of the weekend.
Oh, your girl got her
Io,
shit in.
Yeah, Io Sky and Stephanie Vacour. That shit was crazy. I'm like, I can't believe he got this now. And that match was freaking fire. And of course, that match was DQ'd because both Julia and Roxanne came in. And then after that, you had Rhea jump in to help save the two. And so that is looking fabulous. That was an awesome match. But obviously, the biggest crazy news tonight was that when we had Paul Heyman and Seth friggin' Rollins come down, right? And now Seth Rollins has a new wise man, and both CM Punk and Roman go down there, try to get their licks in, and out of freaking nowhere, Braun motherfucking Breaker has a step up. He drops the Intercontinental. He drops the Intercontinental title and just bashes through the door of the main event card. And now he's part. What's happening? It was definitely gonna happen. And now he's part of the new. What was the? Oh, dude, what was the new Evolution 2.0?
Well, no, there's gonna be the new.
Oh, what's the other one? Yeah. With was it Ted DiBiase?
It was Paul's group in WCW. The
yeah.
I just had it.
Oh my gosh!
It'll come to me.
Yeah, but those right, like that looks like that's crazy. Like we got the last Paul Heyman guy. It's crazy.
Oh my gosh! What is? I just had it.
Yeah, but I'll let you think about it a little bit. But
anyways.
Paul Heyman. Yeah, Paul Heyman.
So no, it was a good week. It was a good weekend. I'm intrigued on where WWE and NXT is going to go over the course of the next few months. As you can see on the scroll below us, take a look at the upcoming schedule. You got Backlash is in a couple of weeks. Yeah. Saturday night's main event will be on May 24th. NXT Battleground on May 25th.
SummerSlam.
NXT versus AAA Worlds Collide. It will be on June 7th. That will be at the Great Western Forum, where later that day, WWE Money in the Bank will be at the Intuit Dome. SummerSlam emanating from New Jersey, the New York, New Jersey area on August 2nd and the 3rd. And then, of course, it was announced, JR, that Survivor Series San Diego will be taking place over Thanksgiving weekend in November, where we will get to see possibly War Games, or at least we will see WWE Survivor Series at Petco Park. That was announced last week on Monday Night Raw. Again, Survivor Series San Diego. Tickets, I think, are going to go on sale here pretty soon, November 29th. And then, of course, it was already announced earlier this year that WrestleMania will return to New Orleans for 42 on 11th and 12th of April next year. And we've got ourselves a busy year, a busy summer with AEW Double or Nothing. That will be May 25th, so it's the same day as NXT Battleground. And then, of course, we've got All In, which is like their version of WrestleMania, which will be in July for AEW. Yeah. So we'll be kind of curious to see that. This will be for a conversation for another time because we've ran about 2.5 hours. So we'll probably do another show pretty soon about the landscape of pro wrestling because you've now got WWE, NXT, AAA, and essentially TNA all under one umbrella. You've got AEW, Ring of Honor, and New Japan all under one umbrella. But the big kind of elephant in the room is the NWA. Billy Corgan's resurgence of NWA, which has been great, is going to have a WWE crossover. You've got Natty Neidhart will be wrestling on the NWA card against one of their top women. I think it might be this coming weekend during the Crockett Cup. So they got a little crossover heat with during WrestleMania weekend and Natty Neidhart, and I think Natty's really trying to work a deal, a kind of a relationship with the NWA. How cool would this be that some of the top professional wrestling organizations in the world will be could possibly have a relationship with the WWE, being that, obviously WWE and NXT is their own, but then you've got AAA, TNA, and possibly NWA now in a relationship with World Wrestling Entertainment. And who knows, they could go around the world and start, getting these other world organizations. Could all Japan Pro Wrestling come to the table? And who knows? We could have an old school. This is where it's going to go back to. And I think we can have again. This is for a show for another day. Is that the WWE is the new NWA? It's what the NWA was during the 60s and the 70s, where they were not only were they were their own territory, and they had their own champion, but all the other wrestling organizations, all the other territories, worked with the NWA. So the NWA, which was ran by the Crockett's in Carolina, they also partnered with Vince McMahon in New York. They partnered with the Jarretts in Tennessee, with Florida Championship Wrestling, with Georgia Championship Wrestling, with Mid Atlantic, with WCCW, with St. Louis, all the different territories. Could we see that in the sense that now that wrestling is a worldwide phenomenon, could we see now that the WWE becomes the new NWA, and instead of having territories within the United States, they're partnering with territories around the world, and creating a new true traveling champion? And I think the other thing too is there's been people have been said that they are not against the idea. Triple H is not against the idea of working with Tony Khan. I think that they're fledgling right now, so I don't think Triple H, if anything, I think they're more looking at look at AEW now as WWE looked at WCW back in the 90s rather than ECW. WWE looked at ECW as like TNA. Let's help them out. Let's do some talent exchange. It's good for business. Whereas WCW was, well, they don't want to do. You got Eric Bischoff over there, and he's being an arrogant prick. Yeah, fuck you. We're not going to do business with you. And I think that's the thing with Tony Khan is he's a smart guy. He's a wrestling fan, but he's become the new Eric Bischoff, and he thinks his shit doesn't stink. And Eric Bischoff himself told Tony, "You're making the same mistakes I made. Don't make them." But anyways, that's a whole different episode. Like JR mentioned, not a lot going on in the comic book area, so they're going to probably see a lot more wrestling on this podcast.
I will say for the last thing also, we did forget to do SmackDown, and SmackDown, of course, Selena Vega won the U.S. Women's Championship, and we had the reemergence, of course. Aleister freaking Black is back now. He was in AEW now for about 5 years. He was NXT before, went to AEW and came back now from AEW, going to WWE, and again, the best match to happen all week happened on Friday. And it was, of course,
Street Profits and
Morris Machine Guns. It was the match that should have been a WrestleMania match. They should have gave them 30. They should have gave them 30 to 40 minutes of WrestleMania.
Agreed.
The reason why we cut out all these, the reason why we cut out all the matches before, it was just basically say, hey, these matches weren't good. The match that we just saw on Friday for the main was classic WrestleMania TLC for the tag champs matches. It was up there. It was up there on the same level or near the same level of the legendary matches of like the Hardy Boys versus Edge and Christian versus Dudley Bros. Like it was on that level. And it's sad, but great that we got to see it still. But good God, they would be immortalized. Absolutely fucking immortalized, bro. Motor City Machine Guns has been one of the best tag teams of the last 10 years. They should get their fucking flowers next year. They should see this match and say, okay, cool. How do we add Fraction in it? So let it be a fucking four-man tag team, because Fraction debuted in the old NXT Stars tag team on SmackDown too. So like that match pissed me the fuck off, because that match should have been a WrestleMania match, and that would have been the best WrestleMania match of the night, possibly even last year's too. And so that pissed me off, because good God, Street Profits the last like month or more than that have been killing it. The tag team division for SmackDown is the best the best that WWE has had since a long while now, right? And just seeing the emergence of like Motor Machine Guns coming into WWE and raising the bar for everyone else to say, instead of getting pissed off at them, say, oh shoot, we got up our game too. And so the game has been upped, and I want to see all these guys get their shine on the next WrestleMania. And I don't want them to be early in the evening. I want them to be the main. I don't care who is going to be next year. It's these guys right here should have been the fucking main event, or at least the second main event, at least in my opinion. But how do you feel about that match, or of that whole thing?
I think that they missed an opportunity, and I think that there was if I'm not mistaken, I was trying to find it. I thought there was a match on the SmackDown before WrestleMania. There was a tag team match that should have probably been on WrestleMania, but I haven't watched it in its entirety. I'm going to go back and try to find it on YouTube and watch that, because I just didn't have a chance to watch. I didn't have a chance on Friday to watch SmackDown. So I will probably go back and rewatch it again, because everyone was kind of comparing it to the old Hardy, Edge and Christian versus Dudley's. And actually, the kind of the forgotten, there's a couple of forgotten TLC matches on that were on SmackDown that people kind of forget that were kind of the similar ilk. So, like I said, I've seen some of the clips from it, and I'll go back and
watch the full matches on WWE is on YouTube. The full match is on YouTube, dude.
I'll go back and watch it. Let us know in the comments below what you guys thought of WrestleMania. What were your matches of the night from WrestleMania? What was your favorite match? What were your thoughts on WrestleMania? What were your thoughts on Star Wars Celebration? What are you most looking forward to from Star Wars? Now, mind you, we will. I don't know if JR's finished it or not. We will do a. Got you. JR, I don't know if you finished watching the current, or have you watched Daredevil Born Again?
I haven't watched the last episode yet, so I'm gonna watch that probably tonight. Yeah.
So we will have a wrap up of that. For those of you who've never who've never done our podcast before. When it comes to, we used to do got an episode by episode, but we've decided to do a different format. So we'll wait for the season to drop, and usually we wait like a week or two to let people catch up on it. So we will do that one. Don't forget, this coming Friday, Thunderbolts is coming out in theaters. It is getting massive reviews. So be on the lookout for that. By the way, real quick, congratulations go out to Star Wars for winning or being almost winning the weekend this past weekend.
Oh, yeah, again.
Revenge of the Sith, a 20-year-old movie, got second place at the theater this past weekend. Number one for the second week in a row was Sinners, remained number one.
Hey, great movie.
Number two, beating out The Accountant 2, which I heard actually is not bad. But yeah, bringing in $25.2 million domestically. Apparently, it was number one in France, Germany, Spain, the UK, Australia, Brazil, and Mexico. Number one. So again, congratulations. I did not get a chance to go see it. I know that you, JR, you and I, we were talking about going out to see it. We had a long week last week.
Stuff happens.
So again, I'm looking forward to Thunderbolts coming out this Friday. I'm going to try to go see it with the kiddos. I know my son's looking forward to it. It's getting really good reviews. Looking forward to that. And then Andor season 2, episodes 4, 5, and 6 come out on Tuesday. And then don't forget, after this on Disney Plus, we've got Ironheart coming out this summer. So
that's right.
So all right, guys. Thanks for thanks for staying up with us. And I will we'll try to get this. I'm trying to get the audio format back up and running. I don't know what happened to our podcast. So on the audio side, but check it out on our YouTube channel. PS Comics, I love you, our voice of reason. As always, he is the man, the myth, the legend. He is the Dark King, aka JR Comic-Kungan, also not JR Comics 42 on Instagram. Check the link in the bio. I am the voice of reason at Voice of Reason 23, Kevin Pillow, on all social media platforms. Thank you guys so much for staying up with us, and we will see you on the next one. All right, hit the button.
You hit the button. But one of the reasons why you guys should watch the YouTube version is that I'm always flexing. So if you guys want to do that,
hashtag FlexPool.
Flexible.
Hit the button.
Hit the button, man. Flex.